How about now?
Does it work now?
Does it work, meow? I hope it works, meow. It looks, again, on our end, like everything is working right meow. Yeah. Super sorry that stuff like that has to happen. It is the breaks when you work with a bunch of technology. Literally, again, just to explain to you guys why we came back. I think you guys can hear us. I hope you guys can hear us. Why we came back this time was because when we went live the first time, sound had a static, and I don't know what that is. Basically, to pull the curtain back for how this show works, I have 3 separate computers running over here. I have 3 different other pieces of Blackmagic Design hardware running to push this out. Plus, we have software on the computer to push it out. Plus, we have a soundboard that connects everything on all the mics and everything like that. No idea.
And only 2 of us.
Yeah, no idea why stuff like that would go down, but it did. So let's give it another try and start the show. I am the Incredible Jeff.
I am the mother of content.
And we are so happy you guys are here on Facebook, on Twitch, and on YouTube, wherever you guys are watching this. And I don't say this enough, but I wanted to say that if you guys happen to be watching on Facebook or Twitch or YouTube, and the feed isn't working to your liking because of your internet connection or whatever, try a different platform. All 3 are free to join, and the only thing you got to do if you're joined is drop a comment in those comments. And why is that, Shannon?
Because we're giving away 3 Jekyll and Hyde Halloween mugs this week, which are sold out, so you can't get them on the website anymore. So the only way to get them is from this live.
Your mic is a little low?
Am I 2 or 1?
You are 2.
Yours is really hard to do. Anyway, so if you share this live on Facebook, Twitch, or on YouTube, wherever you're watching it, or drop a comment, let us know you're watching, you will be automatically entered to win a mug. God damn it, my mic's out now.
No, I think your mic is on. I just think it is low. Let's try this.
Woo! Your mic is breaking.
Give that a shot.
Oh dear. It's still a little low.
Still a little low? Try it now.
Hello? Is this better?
Can you hear her meow?
Can you hear me meow? Someone tell me if you can hear me meow.
Anyway, all you guys got to do is share this show and drop a comment in those comments. 1 lucky comment on each platform, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Facebook. We'll win a mug signed by Shannon and myself, and we'll send it right out to you guys. And we're really excited that you're here. We have an incredible mug to show you at the update, and also a brand new piece of merchandise you haven't even seen yet.
Never seen before.
And we are going to show you this week's podcast guest. But before we get to all of that, let's jump right into the science segment this week. This week, it's all about the Space Shuttle.
Woo!
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Science!
Welcome to part 5 of our new series, Humanity in Space. In the first 4 parts, I looked at spacesuits, spacewalks, space stations, and culminated with the International Space Station. Now, we have sent a lot of different rockets and spacecraft into space, including many different vehicles like space station parts, telescopes, and satellites. But in my opinion, none of those are as impressive as the Space Shuttle. Like many great ideas in space exploration, the Space Shuttle finds its roots way before we even ever made it to space. In the 1930s, Germany was pursuing an idea called Silbervogel, which would be a reusable winged rocket that could fly into suborbital space and then back into the stratosphere, allowing it to make a trip across the Atlantic Ocean by actual leaps and bounds. The end result was to have a way to bomb America in light of the war, but like many outlandish ideas Germany had during that time, this one too never became a reality. After much of the science developed during the war came over to America as part of Operation Paperclip, The U.S. military and NACA, which would later become NASA in 1958, started to pursue a reusable space plane idea, and eventually the X-15 was born. The X-15 set speed and altitude records in the early 1960s, reaching the edge of outer space and returning with data that was essential to the development of future high-speed vehicles, particularly those intended to fly back into the atmosphere, such as the Space Shuttle. Today, the X-15 still holds the record for the fastest speed ever reached by a piloted rocket power airplane. In the 1960s, the U.S. Air Force began working on the X-20, or the Dinosaur. This was a space plane, meant for reconnaissance and satellite maintenance, and most closely resembled the Space Shuttle in design. But unfortunately, this project was canceled and the plane was never fully created. At the same time, the U.S. Air Force and NASA were pursuing lifting bodies, planes that had fixed wings, and the lift was actually generated by the fuselage. These early designs directly informed how the Space Shuttle would come to function. NASA officially announced the Reusable Space Shuttle program in 1968. In fact, they created the Space Shuttle Task Group to figure out the correct design, functionality, and reusability of the craft. NASA actually reviewed 29 potential designs for the Space Shuttle. They determined that a design with 2 side boosters should be used, and the boosters should be reusable to reduce costs. In January of 1972, President Richard Nixon approved the Space Shuttle program, and NASA decided on its final design in March of that year. In 1974, construction began on the very first shuttle, Orbital Vehicle 101, which would later be named Enterprise. Enterprise was designed as a test vehicle and did not include engines or heat shielding. Construction was completed in 1976, and Enterprise was moved to Edwards Air Force Base to begin testing. Enterprise underwent flight testing with the shuttle carrier aircraft, a Boeing 747 that had been modified to carry the orbiter. In February of 1977, Enterprise began the approach and landing tests and underwent captive flights, where it remained attached to the shuttle carrier aircraft for the duration of the flight. But then in August of 1977, Enterprise conducted its first glide test, where it detached from the shuttle carrier aircraft and landed at Edwards Air Force Base. The Space Shuttle program was supposed to be done the following year, but NASA experienced significant delays in the development of the Space Shuttle's thermal protection system. NASA chose to use ceramic tiles for thermal protection, as the shuttle could then be constructed of lightweight aluminum, and the tiles could be individually replaced as needed. At this same time, construction began on Columbia in 1975, and it was delivered to Kennedy Space Center in 1979. The first Space Shuttle mission, STS-1, would be the first time NASA performed a crewed first flight of this spacecraft. On April 12, 1981, the Space Shuttle launched for the first time and was piloted by NASA astronauts John Young and Robert Crippen. During that 2-day mission, Young and Crippen tested equipment on board the shuttle and found several of the ceramic tiles had fallen off the top side of Columbia during launch. On July 4, 1982, STS-4, flown by astronauts Ken Mattingly and Henry Hartsfield, landed at Edwards Air Force Base. President Ronald Reagan and his wife Nancy met the crew and delivered a speech. So after STS-4, NASA declared the Space Shuttle program operational. The Space Shuttle program was a feat of human ingenuity and engineering, and the entire system can be broken down into 3 parts: the external tank, the solid rocket boosters, and the parts of the Space Shuttle itself that all amount to what is called the orbiter. At launch, the external tank was connected to 2 solid rocket boosters, SRBs, that provided over 70% of the Space Shuttle's thrust. These were the largest solid rocket motors ever flown, and the first solid rocket motors used on a crewed spacecraft. These 2 150-foot tall rockets would be jettisoned 2 minutes after launch to parachute back to Earth and be recovered in the ocean. The external tank had a main function to supply the solid rocket boosters with liquid oxygen and hydrogen. The external tank was the only part of the shuttle system that was never reused. For the first 2 missions, STS-1 and STS-2, the external tank was actually painted white to protect the insulation that covers much of the tank. But improvements in testing showed that this was not required. The weight saved by not painting the tank resulted in an increase in payload capability to orbit. The orbiter was the spacecraft itself, and 5 models were produced and sent to space: Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavour. Enterprise paved the way, but was never flown into orbit. The orbiter had design elements and capabilities of both a rocket and an aircraft to allow it to launch vertically and then land like a glider. The shuttle had to be carefully constructed and also maneuvered while it was within the Vehicle Assembly Building, or VAB building, in Kennedy Space Center. There are still guidelines on the floor to show just how far you could turn the shuttle and still get it outside the door. The crew compartment of the shuttle comprised 3 decks and was the pressurized habitable area on all space shuttle missions. The cockpit consists of 2 seats for the commander and pilot, as well as an additional 2 to 4 seats for crew members. The middeck was located below the cockpit and is where the galley and crew bunks are set up, as well as 3 or 4 crew member seats. The middeck also contained the airlock, which could support 2 astronauts on an EVA, as well as access to pressurized research modules. The orbiter's 60-foot-long payload bay, comprising most of the fuselage, could accommodate cylindrical payloads up to 15 feet in diameter. Information declassified in 2011 showed that these measurements were chosen specifically to accommodate the KH-9 Hexagon spy satellite operated by the National Reconnaissance Office. Way back in 1973, European ministers met in Belgium to authorize Western Europe's crewed orbital project and its main contribution to the space shuttle, the Space Lab program. Space Lab would provide a multidisciplinary orbital space laboratory and additional space equipment for the shuttle. Supported by a modular system of pressurized modules, pallets, and systems, Space Lab missions executed on multidisciplinary science, orbital logistics, and international cooperation. Over 29 missions flew on subjects including astronomy, microgravity, radar, and life sciences, and even the Hubble Space Telescope was part of the Space Lab hardware. In the 1980s and 1990s, many flights involved space science missions on the Space Lab, or launching various types of satellites and science probes. By the late 90s and 2000s, the focus shifted more to servicing the space station with fewer satellite launches. Almost the entire space shuttle reentry procedure, except for lowering the landing gear and deploying the air data probes, was normally performed under computer control. The reentry could be flown entirely manually if an emergency arose. Here, retired NASA astronaut Nicole Stott talk about her time flying on the space shuttle. Nicole was actually the final expedition member to leave the International Space Station and come back to Earth on a space shuttle during mission STS-129. And she also was part of the third to last ever space shuttle mission, STS-133.
The space shuttle, I hope we figure out how to do something as beautiful as the space shuttle again. You know, the space shuttle launched from a launch pad and glided in to landing on the runway. And, you know, the launch on the shuttle was really dynamic. I mean, more than I, after watching launches for years working out there, ever imagined. I mean, I thought it was going to be like here, and, you know, I can't even stretch my arm high enough for how, you know, your body is like jello shaking on the way up. And, but it's outstanding. And, you know, just a little detour here, but on launch, nothing prepares you for it, I don't think. And then you do it again thinking, oh, you know, been there, done that. And it's like a whole new experience all over again. And I don't know if our engineers who designed the shuttle did this deliberately or not, but in about the first minute and a half, there's not a whole lot the crew can do, you know, about anything. You monitor systems. There's, you know, some things, you know, immediate switches you can throw and stuff. But for the most part, you're in monitor mode. And I think that was such a good thing, because that first minute and a half, it goes by so quickly. And the whole time you're just like, the smile is across your face inside the helmet. You're high-fiving with the guy next to you and, you know, woohooing and stuff, because I think it just drives it out of you. It's about, you know, talk about human experience. It just comes out of you then. And so that's really dynamic on the shuttle. The landing on a space shuttle was like graceful and peaceful and it was almost kind of this contrast, because, you know, once you start entering the atmosphere, and if you could get a view out a window, I mean, you're seeing that heat and some of the plasma kind of moving across the vehicle, that you're like, oh wow, it is really hot out there. And you're going super fast, but it just was inside, just a little bit of a rumble every now and then, but no dynamics at all, like launch. And then when you land, it's just this circling kind of S-turn and spiral into the runway, and you're gliding. You're not even on engines anymore. I mean, the key there is you got one, it's one time you land, you're not going around. And it was just this, little screechy noise on the runway, and then you're home. It was so mellow.
The Space Shuttle program became the staple of modern space exploration in the face of NASA during the 80s and 90s. Two disasters, though, leave black marks on its almost flawless record, and through those terrible tragedies, NASA was able to learn from their unfortunate mistakes. On January 28, 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger disintegrated 73 seconds after launch. The explosion killed all 7 crew members and was felt among all walks of life, as one of the crew members was Sharon Krista McAuliffe, an American teacher turned astronaut, and became the every woman of the crew. Many schools across the world tuned into the launch as a way to show students the idea of you can be anything. The failure was in one of the rocket's O-ring connectors that was warned to be faulty by NASA engineers if launched in unfavorable temperatures, and the warnings, unfortunately, were not heeded by NASA managers. On February 1st, 2003, Columbia disintegrated on re-entry, killing its entire crew. There was damage to the wing during launch, and again, NASA management ignored warnings from engineers that the damage should be looked at closely and repaired before re-entry. Both of these tragedies paved the way for better understanding between management and workers within the NASA program, and many steps were taken to ensure safer and better procedures moving forward, including having better checks and balances, and also better safety measures and spacesuit designs being implemented for astronauts. Recently, Kennedy Space Center in Florida unveiled an incredible memorial to the men and women who lost their lives in these disasters, which really puts a human element on the brave astronauts that risk their lives still to this day to further space exploration. There were many giant leaps for mankind thanks to the missions under the Space Shuttle program. STS-30 was the first Space Shuttle mission to launch an interplanetary probe, and the Space Shuttle Atlantis brought Magellan to space and launched it to Venus. The launch of the Hubble telescope, which still to this day gives us incredible views of our galaxy and beyond, was part of the STS-31 mission of the Space Shuttle Discovery. The longest Space Shuttle mission was in 1996 on the Space Shuttle Columbia, and it lasted 17 days and 15 hours. Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1998 brought the first pieces of the International Space Station to space. The Space Shuttle program ended in 2011. There are a few ways to view the decommissioned shuttles, but none are as impressive as the Atlantis experience at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. To be able to immerse yourself in the history and science involved in the Space Shuttle directly under the shuttle Atlantis as it hangs exactly like it would have in space is awe-inspiring and breathtaking. Since the Space Shuttle program ended, only the Soyuz has been the sole spacecraft to deliver astronauts to and from space. And as we look towards the future, new craft are emerging. Both the Orion and Crew Dragon capsule are on the forefront of the next crewed spacecraft taking astronauts to space. And still, in my opinion, nothing has been impressive looking or functionality as the Space Shuttle. And as we move into the future of space exploration, I think we're going to see a lot of new designs, and some that might even surpass what the Space Shuttle was as we look towards ferrying more astronauts into space, as our return to the moon and beyond to Mars and into the stars. So cool. Hope you guys can hear me. We switched mics.
We did.
Can we hear you?
Can you hear us?
Hope you guys
Fine.
can hear me. Just for you guys just tuning in, when we started the show tonight, we had some technical difficulties, and hopefully we have changed some stuff up and have made the sound a little bit better. Also, I want to let you guys know that if you do enjoy the Humanity in Space series that we've been putting out, all 5 parts are actually all 4 parts are available on YouTube right now. You just saw the 5th part. That one will be available on Sunday because it also comes out on the Fueled by Deathcast podcast as well. I really have been enjoying doing these, and I know you guys have been enjoying it as well. I didn't get to see as many comments as before. I know they're saying I'm low. I'm going to do my best. To be as loud as possible. But, basically, I didn't get to see as many comments as before, but I saw you guys were really excited about the Space Shuttle. If you guys want to learn more about the Space Shuttle, definitely go on over to nasa.gov. That is your best chance to find out all the stuff about the Space Shuttle and the new crewed missions that we're doing, Orion and Crew Dragon, and so many other things. If you guys are just joining the show, you've got more juice than I do. You tell them about the mugs.
Heck yeah. So we're giving away 3 Jekyll and Hyde mugs, so our double-sided mug that we released this year for Halloween. It's officially sold out on the website, so the only way you can get it is through winning one on this show. So if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, drop a comment. Let us know you're here. We will randomly pick winners at the end of the show. We will pick a YouTube winner live because we can't message you guys on YouTube after the shows. We're going to pull a live winner there, and then we will pull winners for Facebook and Twitch after the show and comment and announce that in the comments.
Exactly. And we got some really cool stuff to talk about as soon as we wrap the show up tonight. But before we get to that, I want to show you a sneak peek of tomorrow's podcast. Every single Thursday, if you don't know, Fueled by Deathcast is actually an audio podcast, also in video on YouTube, that comes out every Thursday with a special guest that I get to talk to about what they do and what fuels their passion. And I got to talk to a really cool person, Amanda Rodriguez. I met her because she is a good friend of our senior graphic designer, Thomas Dragonetti, here at Death Wish Coffee. And she has been in the makeup business for a very long time, working for companies like Urban Decay and Sephora. And she's now changing her path and working for a brand new industry, the cannabis industry, and a brand new path in life. And that's scary and exciting, and it's inspiring to hear her talk about it. So before that full episode hits tomorrow, here's a sneak peek with Amanda Rodriguez right here.
Fueled by Deathcast.
What fuels you to do what you do? What is it that's inside of you that keeps your passion strong?
I think for me, I love beauty and it's always inspiring, and I think also it's cool to show yourself to people. I think it's cool because I think for a long time, people just you would do this whole makeup thing, but there was no emotion behind it, but also to just be a person and to connect with other women and to have real talks with them, or to show vulnerability, or once again, the representation thing I think is really big. I have younger cousins that I've met recently that are I think it's amazing that you're doing seeing someone like you that looks like me doing something like this. I would be so psyched if I saw that whenever I was 16 or 17. So I think for me, I always have to remind myself, I'm there's faces out there. It's not just double taps and things like that. It's you're actually connecting with humans, and that feels really, really cool.
That's awesome. With your time at Urban Decay, has there anything been super surprising to you? Was there ever a moment or an experience that you had that just you weren't expecting from being in this industry?
I think that having just the opportunities I have to be able to travel, it's I have been able to go to so many different countries and see different types of women and different makeup styles. And that to me has just been if my teenage version of myself could see this, she'd be holy shit, how did you like it's like one of those like how did I get here moments. But I think being able to travel and go to different countries and like go to the Middle East and like see makeup styles there, and go to Hong Kong and see how women wear makeup there, or going to France or going to Italy, like it's just been cool to connect with all these different people, and we all have the same interests, and are all connected in that way. It's been really special.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings me to, because we talked about this off camera, but you, as this episode airs, you will already have changed the game again, and your journey is continuing.
Yeah.
And can we talk a little bit about that? I mean, you're kind of getting out of the makeup game, right?
Yeah, I am. So it's interesting because I've been in the beauty industry for a really long time. But living in Southern California, I think with like my own like health, like mental health, happiness, and things, I've slowed down. Like leaving New York, you like take care of yourself a little bit better. I feel like I was like really running myself ragged, but I was also in my 20s and like drinking and partying 24/7.
That's what the 20s are for.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
And also living in New York.
Yes.
But I think since living out in California and like being able to experience the cannabis industry, I think it's been something that's been massively like a huge passion for me, for like my own mental health and just in general being able to connect with my friends in a different way. So I'm getting into the cannabis industry.
That's exciting. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Check out my interview with Amanda in full tomorrow, wherever podcasts are found. That is Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Music, and also on YouTube. Oh, Spotify as well.
Woo!
And thank you guys so much for tuning in wherever you're watching. I know the sound has been really weird tonight, and thank you for
Really weird.
Yeah, for sticking around with us. Without further ado,
Yay!
I know you guys want to see it. Coming out next week is our final mug of 2019.
Oh, dang.
And you guys know what it is because we already released the golden ticket. It's the Krampus mug.
Dramatic pause. And we're revealing the colors for the first time.
Good. Okay. So this is it in all its glory. I got a good photo of it so you can see
We don't
it.
have mug cam today. But there's a photo. It's matte black with a red drip glaze.
And why is that, Shannon?
And why is that? We thought, we had to make this mug a little spooky for the holiday season because it is Krampus. He's not a jolly guy.
Yeah.
So we thought matte black was the perfect representation of Krampus with the red drip glaze that, is a holiday color. It does have the red, but, it is kind of creepy too because it kind of looks like blood. And Krampus kills people. I think he kills people.
He does.
He takes them to the underworld, so I'm assuming he kills them.
He does. We're really, really, really excited about this mug. Last year, we talked to you guys out there, the incredible community of Death Wish lovers, and asked what some of your ultimate mugs would be, ultimate mug designs. And one that a lot of you said was the Krampus mug. So, I mean, we wanted to do it, and we wanted to do it right. So we did it. I think we did it right. And that matte black, I'm going to show it again.
It really makes the red look extra spooky, too.
Ah, it's so good. And what better mug to go out with this decade? Not just this year. This was the Death Wish decade. I just brought this up on last week's show. In 2010, Death Wish wasn't even a thought in Mike Brown's brain
Didn't even exist.
Didn't even exist yet.
Which is crazy.
Can't even believe it. And now, at the end of 2019, we're coming out with a Krampus mug to kick off the end of that decade, and in our colors, our black and red colors. So that's next week, guys. This is coming out next week, so get ready for that. And, Shannon, will you explain how cool it is to be a coffee subscriber?
Yes, I will, Jeff. So you can be a recurring coffee subscriber through deathwishcoffee.com, which means you can sign up to get coffee on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly or bi-monthly basis, depending on how much coffee you drink. So when you do that and you sign up for an automatic subscription, coffee automatically shows up at your door each week or every 2 weeks, whatever you pick, and you get that for a discount too. So you get that for cheaper than it would be just going to our website to buy a mug. Or a mug to buy coffee. But speaking of mugs, as a subscriber, you get early access to all of our mug releases. So for the Krampus mug, when we release that, we actually release it to subscribers a day early. So if you're really worried about getting this mug and you're scared it's going to sell out before the full release, sign up to be a coffee subscriber and you literally don't have to worry about it selling out.
I saw a couple questions. How many of this mug are made? It does.
3,666 of this mug.
We ain't messing around. This one is limited.
366. I feel like that was on purpose.
Oh, yeah, it was on purpose. 3,666 of these mugs.
Bow, 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 bow.
And I saw another question, if you could answer this, Shannon. What is a golden ticket?
A golden ticket. So we do a golden ticket mug a few weeks before a mug release. So what that is we released a mug that was a different, same style and same medallion, but a different glaze. And it was basically, it's like a contest. So any order you place on a golden ticket day, your order is automatically entered to randomly get one of these super rare mugs. We only do like 20 of them. So on a golden ticket day, if you go and order a pair of socks or a bag of coffee, your order might show up with a golden ticket mug. And it looks different than this mug. They're super rare. They're beautiful. I love them. It's a fun little contest to do for sure.
It's amazing. I seen another comment about how many ounces. I believe it is 16.
I believe it's 16.
I believe it's 16 ounces. If you fill it up to the tippy top.
Tippy top.
Tippy top.
Okay.
Tippy.
Moving on.
You guys want to see something new?
Brand new. We didn't show this before. It wasn't in the teaser blog for No one wants to see that. So this is a product that we didn't tease in the December blog in the Scoop. If you're some email subscriber to the Scoop newsletter, we did do a blog a few weeks ago about everything we're releasing in December. But we strategically didn't include this Letterman jacket that Jeff is putting on facing the back of the room.
I want him to see the back.
You want him to see the back. So this is our Death Wish Varsity Letterman's jacket because no school matters more than Death Wish University is what we're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff is
Wanna
the
go to
captain of the team.
Want to go to Death Wish University?
Death Wish U.
Here you go. Now, this is incredible. One of the details you can't see on this, but you'll be able to see. This is coming out tomorrow, everybody, by the way.
Tomorrow!
But one of the details that you guys can't see is that the buttons have our logo on the buttons.
I can confirm the logo's there.
Isn't that incredible? Coming out tomorrow, and I have a ton of information to tell you guys.
Tell us, Jeff.
So I just want to let you know, this is a custom cut and sew Letterman jacket. That means that literally you couldn't get this jacket. You couldn't just slap a logo on the back or in the front and make a jacket like this. We had this hand cut and sewed by this company specifically for this style. All right? The body is black denim, 100% cotton denim. It's so warm and soft at the same time. It's so amazing. The sleeves are black wool on the inside. And the lining, the jacket lining, is polyester, which is what you want because that'll hold up even more. Custom snaps, inside custom label, Death Wish Coffee, and a stash pocket.
A pretty pocket.
Yep. Plus a 4-inch monogram Chanel, beautiful Chanel DW on the front, and then the giant Death Wish Coffee Company logo in Chanel on the back. All right? Now, if you guys have seen Letterman jackets out in the wild, and not the shitty Letterman jackets that, you see like companies try to hawk that are made out of, nothing, paper. Then they fall apart when you put them in the wash.
Yep.
These are custom. And not only are these custom, the ones that you see out in the wild usually have the leather sleeves on them, right?
So if you played a varsity sport in high school and got a Letterman's jacket, those run for $300 plus.
Those run for $300 usually. This is all custom, all for you guys, and black denim, cotton, and polyester, and it's coming out tomorrow for $120. This is an incredible, high-quality item that would make the perfect holiday gift. Or wait till after the holidays.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Jeff loves it. He's been
love
wearing
it.
this sample all day, and we think
have.
he's just going to walk out with it.
Can confirm. I'm not going to walk out with this one. I did order one for myself because I cannot wait. In fact, I can't wait to get one, and I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to add the space patch to this jacket to make it my own.
There you go.
Yep.
Perfect. Hey, you can add patches to it. So if you have a growing patch collection from all of our mug releases or other patches, you can stick them right on there.
I see a question about sizes. There will be a size chart on the website tomorrow. I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth and say a size that might not be there. I know we made it from a very small size to a very, very large size.
It goes up to 5X.
It does?
Yep.
All right. There you go. Goes up to 5X. I'm so excited about this. I'm going to model it again.
Strut your stuff, Jeff. Strut your stuff. Big man on Krampus is the pun I keep seeing, which is amazing.
I freaking love it. I'm so excited about it. It's very warm. It's very, very, very comfortable. And I hope you guys all get it. It comes out tomorrow. Next week is the Krampus mug. Thank you guys so much for sticking around through all of our terrible technical difficulties that I have no idea.
We're in this together, and
what
we
happened.
appreciate it.
And we really hope that you guys had a good time. We'll be back next week with another show on Twitch and on Facebook. We're going to announce the winners in those comments as soon as we sign off of the awesome double-sided Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde mug. But over on YouTube, the winner, because I can't announce the winner in the comments because the comments go away as soon as they go away. The winner on YouTube, your name on YouTube is Kiln Time. That's KILNTYME. Kiln Time, you are the winner.
I meant killing time.
Killing Time. Please, please, please hit us up on Facebook, Deathwish Coffee Company on Facebook, or hit us up, hey, HEY, at deathwishcoffee.com. Winners on Twitch and Facebook in just a minute. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week with another show.
Bye.